us more about the Supreme Court nominee and the hearings is criminal defense attorney Geoffrey Nathan. And Geoffrey, thanks for being with us. How do you think Gorsuch is doing so far?
Oh, well, he's been fine-tuned and practiced to the point where he can support the Trump administration's goals, which are to essentially traffic in falsehoods, deceive the American public, and he's going to answer the senators in a way that's going to be able to do just that, all in the efforts of this administration's goal: undermine democracy and change the fundamental principles that have governed the United States since its inception.
Well, I'm not sure that's exactly Neil Gorsuch's goal. It seems like his goal is to play it safe and to try to get through this confirmation process. Obviously, the Trump administration would like to see him confirmed. But is it fair to say we're really not learning that much about Neil Gorsuch in terms of his view about particular case law, because we've gotten to this process now where you have to play it safe and not offer very much to anybody?
No, he's going to keep it cool. He's not going to say, and hasn't said too terribly much, that would leave anyone to say that he's going to throw Roe v. Wade under the bus. And that's coming, but it's just a matter of time. But he's not going to go on the record, of course, and say that that's what he's going to do.
Those are some strong words you have there. Undermine democracy. You're pretty sure that he's going to backtrack on Roe versus Wade. Why do you have such conviction on this?
Well, sure. Well, this is an administration that has proven itself to be a gang of thugs and near criminals. Indictments are likely.
Nothing has been proven about this administration being a gang of thugs. They are reportedly looking into some allegations, but I think we have to hold off on the rhetoric of gang of thugs, to be fair.
They fraternize with the enemy. They do business with the enemies, and Russians particularly. So I really think what you have coming is a bad nominee who's probably going to sail through confirmation
none of these allegations have been proven as yet. So before we group them in that category, which is completely unfair at this moment, let's talk about what the Democrats are trying to do. And they're trying to delay the vote on Gorsuch. Schumer saying that until the FBI probe into the Russian-Trump alleged collusions is done, that he doesn't think that Gorsuch should be confirmed. Is that fair?
Well, I'm not sure that it's fair or not. I think that Gorsuch is going to have to ultimately be the one that decides on the case laws that may come down in the criminal cases, which I believe are coming against this administration. If that's your point, I'm not sure whether or not Gorsuch would be somebody who could rule fairly in regards to the administration that nominated him, frankly.
If we're going to go after the Trump administration for, as you say, doing business with the Russians, shouldn't we also go after the Clinton Foundation for doing business with the Russians?
You know, there's a difference between fundraising versus supporting and asking for wiretapping and illegal activities against your campaign opponents.
No, wait a second, Mr. Nathan. We know that the U.S. State Department policy changed as a result of things that the Russians and others were doing. So I would argue that the case is actually clearer for corruption. If that's the kind of criminality that you think ought to be brought, that it's actually clearer against associates of the Clintons than it is right now against associates of the Trumps.
Well, I would say what you're talking about is a very gray area of soliciting donations that have nothing to do with doing business with the enemy.
They got money for influence. The Clinton Foundation, as a fact, got money, and there were several instances where they made influential decisions or connections that benefited the parties from which they received money. So far, we have no money trail at all, or any trail that's been proven between the Trump administration and the Russians.
Oh, no way. I'm so sorry. But an emissary of the Trump campaign went to Russia, got 18% of one of the largest oil distributors to be sold, the proceeds to go to him. So if that's not graft, corruption, greed, I don't know what is.
Flynn, that is no longer part of the administration. Let's bring it back to Gorsuch. Given all of this, do you think he's going to be confirmed?
Well, I think inevitably the whole Senate is going to throw their hands up and say, look, it's not fair to have a United States Supreme Court of 8. The court is a 9-member judiciary and should be. And I'm not going to suggest that Gorsuch isn't smart. He may be well smarter than me. And ultimately, I believe he's probably going to be confirmed. I think he's a woefully inadequate judge. He's a tool of corporate America, and that's what you're going to see coming out of his decision.
Geoffrey, Nathan, a criminal defense attorney, thank you very much. Pretty witty there. But here's the thing. I do think that Democrats have a legitimate gripe after Republicans refused to even have a hearing over Judge Garland a year ago, that if Democrats say, okay, you know what, we're not going to allow a vote over this judge, Neil Gorsuch, because we're mad and we're going to force a filibuster, Democrats are entitled to do that.
They can be entitled to throw their toys, and two wrongs don't make a right. Yeah, would they wronged? Sure, you could make that case. Is it in the greater interest of the country, in the progress that we're making, to do this? That's another case.
You know, honestly, I think having a 9th Supreme Court justice is really not that big a deal, honestly. I mean, the court is doing just fine with 8. If we have to wait yet another year with just 8, the court and the country will be just fine.
But they would do it just to prove a point, just to be
Absolutely, just as Republicans were proving their point a year ago. I mean, that's, politics is sometimes messy and people hate it. But so be it. I don't see anybody who's going to start doing the right thing or taking the high road at this point.
Yet you do still think he's going to be confirmed?
I still think he will be confirmed, because I think there will be at least 8 Democrats who'll say, you know what, this is to heck with it. Let's just let this vote. Let him have a straight up or down vote. That'd be my guess as well.